Hello, welcome to another episode of our podcast. Our guest today is Jerome Reuter. Not going to try the French pronunciation because I'm obviously going to slaughter it. Great to have you. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Yes, I'm fine.
Well, you're celebrating the 20th anniversary of your band, and there are three new records, right? Let's pass on the anthology one and
Yeah.
focus on the others. What's the story behind the Dublin Session II?
Well, it's the second time I went to Ireland to record with friends of mine, basically. This happened in the summer of 22. And yeah, because of different circumstances, we weren't quite able to release it until now. And that's basically it. It's just a session with friends, having fun. I love being in Ireland. And yeah, the session is the result of that week. I would have loved to release it earlier, but the war kind of changed everyone's plans. So there were other more pressing things on the agenda. And
Yeah, because it was recorded before the Gates of Europe, right?
yes, it was. Well, sort of. It was written before whatever I had written before I went to Ireland was done well before that, because I would always jot down an idea or two along the years since the first Dublin session, and so I had a few things available to me idea wise, and so it was recorded while I was actually starting to write Gates of Europe, or I don't know. Yes, probably. It's kind of blurry now.
Okay.
But yeah, I had released the Defiance digital EP in support of Ukraine, and was this just wasn't stopping in my head and all of that. So new songs kept on coming, and then in 23, I believe it was, then Gates of Europe was finished, and it was really not the right moment to do this Dublin session, although it is a bit tinted by all of that. I mean, there's some stuff on there that sneaked its way onto it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the overall impression is that it's kind of happier than most of your music output. So I guess it was a good choice not to release it by then, given the circumstances.
I don't know. I think it's just the fun that we were having recording this, and also the nature of some of these Irish instruments that is just jolly.
Yeah, the difference is striking. I mean, harmonically and stuff like that. And I was wondering whether it kind of reminds me even of these alt country moguls like Andrew Bird, for instance. And I was wondering whether you wrote it alone or was it a group effort.
Well, I wrote the basic tracks alone. It's usually based on acoustic guitar, and then I just see what other people have to comment, with whatever instrument they are playing, and usually while they're tuning up or something, um, either me or somebody else gets an idea, like, oh, use this as an intro, or yeah, let's not do that here, but let's keep that for somewhere else, and stuff like that. So it's a dynamic process, but yeah, I usually start with bringing the vocal melody onto a chord progression, and then we take it from there together.
And Gosia Gąsior, she's Polish, right?
Yeah. She's been living in Ireland for I don't know how many years. She's a local musician, slash music teacher, slash whatever. Um, Good friend of my good friend Brian. She'd been on the first session as well. And yeah, she's still living and working in Dublin.
Yeah, I love the alliteration in her name, Gosia
Yeah,
Gąsior.
that's why I
Gąsior
picked.
meaning, Gosia Gąsior, Gąsior means a male goose in Polish.
Well, let's not tell her that.
Okay, hold the line and Tsarist Army. By the way, I love the lyrics. Hilarious. Uh, they even have that
From
not
that
even
last one
jig.
or from both?
Well, especially the Tsarist Army. they have this not even real-ish or jig-ish vibe about them. It's kind of, they remind me of shanties.
Yes, they are. They are very much based on these traditional Irish songs, actually. I mean, also lyrically, the Tsarist Army was just slightly changed from a lyric that goes against the British Army at the time. So, um, yeah, that's it's a nod to both those worlds, and it's quite a silly thing to do, obviously, but yeah, we were having fun, spur of the moment, and why not?
Yeah, it reminds me of Parlez-Vous Hate, like emotionally.
There is that disregard for certain things, yes.
But are we? Can we expect a shanty record?
Well, no, I think this is as close as it's gonna get.
Okay, let's switch to Civitas Solis, City of the Sun. Okay, one of the best known utopias, uh, probably by Tommaso Campanella in this case. And what was behind picking that album title? Are you fed up with criticizing the state of things, and are you gonna, create your own utopia to share with us, or what's behind, the idea of calling an album that?
Well, it's a title that's been haunting me for a while, and it just seemed to fit this collection very well because Civitas Solis has this odd um, way of coming to life because it was I was going back and forth on the songs, and they're remnants of like the last almost 10 years, and they were all songs that couldn't quite fit on a particular record, or that came just too late to be included on some record. And while what I was writing maybe still in the same kind of mood as a previous album, but that didn't fit the next one. Sort of those kind of orphans that accumulated over the certainly the last 5 years. So that's why the war and other things are also present there. But overall, it's from different time periods, and it's certainly not a best of, but it felt like this weird, almost an anthology kind of collection. And Civitas Solis just fit this thing very well. To be honest, there was no big scheme behind it all. I think it's just a
Yeah, I
great
was
title.
wondering because I can pick the common theme between the
Mhm.
songs, but I was wondering whether it's a concept album or.
No, it's actually not. It's well, it might appear like one because I guess I'm just rewriting the same songs over and over, and so um,
Everybody does.
yes, and yeah. So this one has many fathers in that regard, that it's born from the remnants of different concepts, and so I wasn't sure how it all fit together. Still, I'm not, but I think it all worked out pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I was also wondering because Campanella kind of advocated community property. I was wondering whether he was one of the first spokesmen for the communism, and are you kind of changing your political stance with
Sort of
this?
in a religious way, he was probably. I don't know political stance. I mean, I don't really. I don't know what I stand for, actually. If you say I'm changing it, maybe I'm not. Maybe, or maybe again, second time this week, something like that.
Oh, with the speed of the world, how not to?
Yes. Well, I wouldn't turn to communism for answers, to be honest.
Well, me neither. Like socialism is as far left as I can get.
But
Uh, okay, let's try doing perhaps try track by track stuff. Like the France La France Nouvelle. Do I am I right to think that its meaning is pretty close to only Europe knows, but you're taking it to the France-controlled um, zones of America?
no,
Um,
it's
oh,
just about my
so I
neighbors.
got it completely wrong.
No, no, it's just something that um, you wonder about, and you know, when I mean, I live very close to the French border, and I'm traveling through France not too much on a regular basis, but still. And it's just one of those things you wonder about. And when you talk to people and what people dare or dare not say or think, and all these conflicts within themselves, within the French soul at the moment, that's pretty much it. That's the song where you can see something's clearly not balanced, and whether you want to read it in one way or the other, but there is just that imminent conflict there, and that's what this song is mirroring. It's not really. I don't know the answer. I don't have the answers. But there's this tension and this. I like this song particularly well because there is that tension in the sound, and that's what it's about. That's all I can offer right now.
Okay, so in The Brightest Black and Mariana, uh, two issues here. First one, it kind of means you're not done flirting with, the poppier, maybe more upbeat, more danceable sound. And on the other hand, they are both about Ukraine again, right?
Yeah, they are. Brightest Black was a song that came to me while I don't remember which trip to Ukraine it was, but it was something a friend of mine said to me while we were traveling, and there was this um, cemetery we passed and all of that. But and Mariana, yes, it's very very much pop. It's so pop. It's makes you. I mean, it makes you grind your teeth. It's that sweet, but yeah, there's those things that happen. I mean, this is probably why this song never ended up anywhere, because it's just too sweet, or bittersweet in this case. I like a good melody, and sometimes things are just too cheesy to be included anywhere, but you still very much like the song, and it would be a waste to throw it away. So, and this song means a lot to me lyrically, and yeah, that's why it's included here.
Yeah, it's a simple but striking picture, I think. Yeah.
It
I'll do
is.
my
It is.
best to help.
It's a grim reality currently for also lots of people I know personally, and so I don't know. It's those things that churn inside you, and uh, will find a way out one way or the other. And bittersweet pop song could be one way.
Yeah, and like putting it through a singular person kind of makes it more striking. And as we're talking about Ukraine, the last time we spoke was just right after you released Gates of Europe, so a year and a half ago, I think. And are you keeping in touch with what's happening there?
Very much so. Yes. On a daily basis, I'm fed updates whether I want to or not. Um, so yeah, I'm still very much involved and helping here and there, and lots of my friends and associates do. Um, we will go back in November for another show. I mean, it's always hard to plan, but that's what's booked for now. And of course, you never know under what circumstances the next show will be, but it's certainly planned. And yeah, no, it's very much a reality still. I know it's not for many people anymore, but yeah, and I mean, I'm also tired of talking about it. Of course, I would rather not talk about it because it wouldn't. I mean, I'd prefer it not being a problem at all, but it is,
Obviously.
and yeah. So who knows where all of that will go and lead us to? But yeah, it's a reality in Europe, and yeah, I'm still very much interested.
Because asking because from our point of view, Polish point of view, the media coverage and stuff, it seems like it's a complete stalemate at the front. Would you agree?
Oh, it's really hard to say, and I think by the time this will air, the impression will be different again. You know, it's really. I mean, overall, of course, you know, you look at the map and you have Russia and about their military or whatever their presumed qualities were. And, from February 22 to June 25, having that little progress for such an army is obviously quite bad from their point of view. And then again, not much is happening in the last months. That's true. But then again, there is daily stuff happening. There's a lot happening all the time. It takes a lot of energy and human lives to keep this at a stalemate. And with all the resources and energy that's been thrown into that fight, who knows how long which side can sustain what. And so the stalemate is it's a bloody one. It's not because nobody's doing anything or trying anything.
It's achieved in a hard way.
Yeah.
Okay, Alternative für Deutschland, our latest presidential election, which was won by a guy who used to be a pimp and stuff like that. A right-wing wave, like rising in middle of Europe. What about the West? What is the morale in the West? Do you expect a brown wave there as well?
Well, you just mentioned some of the West. I don't know. No, it's
Well,
really.
I believe Germany to be, kind of middle Europe, right?
Right. Yeah. Let's start by defining the map. Huh? Well, it's a very complicated question because there is not one West and there is not one way things go in. Even though every couple of years Europe seems to be drifting more and more to the right, then there's the other thing, and it goes back and forth. And one right is not in one country is not the same as the other right, even if by name they are quite the same. Every society in Europe is different, and you cannot compare the AfD to the Front National. You cannot, of course, there's similar things and all of that, but it's not the same society. It's not the same kind of party. So just judging by wherever left or right one party might be considered to be in its specific parliament doesn't mean that has a whole lot of consequences for Europe. I mean, the same goes for the left. If you have this left shift, it's not like suddenly some things are better or some things are different or whatever. It's a long, slow process, and there are other factors outside of Europe that are quite pressing at the moment, which will influence that this way or the other. And I'm not a politician, and I'm not a political analyst, so I will leave that to those people. But let's say I'm not worried, and I'm very worried. So it's the whole, like, I mean, just thinking about Ukraine and the support or not support it gets in specific countries from specific political wings, there's no clear cut logic to it. If you take Italy or France or Germany, like completely different stances in those three countries towards the war from the political right. So, even if everybody voted right tomorrow, that wouldn't necessarily mean the end of the war or the end of the support for Ukraine or the end of, it's a little more complicated than that.
It is. Well, bring me the head of Romanes. I did my research. Thought it was some kind of a person from, I don't know, some novel or history. Found nothing. So is it like a
Well, my
generic
lawyer will
story?
be happy about that.
Well, is it a generic story about symbolic vengeance, or am I missing something?
Well, my lawyer would advise me to say it's symbolic. Well, I don't know. It's in recent history, as far as my personal Rome goes. There's been attempts at my livelihood, and this song is mirroring that. And you will not find a Romanes. I mean, not that particular one because that's not his actual name. But that there are certain individuals in the world that, if you reread the lyrics and scroll down a few years in my posts, then you will see what this is about. It's a song that was written as a curse for that particular person, and yeah, it wasn't released at the time because at the time releasing anything was legally not clear, and so yeah, there you go.
Nice story, and I do
No,
remember you telling me.
it's not a nice story at all. I would really have done well without it.
Catchy. People will like hearing it, but okay. I'm sorry it happened to you. Though I remember you talking about this issue a year and a half ago. Like you were getting some nasty threats from people who seemed
Oh no, that was
seemed kind of
something else. No, this was just a lawsuit I was being put through. This is not about anything related to war or politics, whatever. No, this song here is about a business matter for some people, but for me, it's my one and all, my everything, and my life's work, and it nearly killed the whole operation, and it was a very, very dark time. And then after that, the war came. So yeah, it's been good times.
okay. Another thing I got tricked by you with was the Western Wall. I mean, at first I thought it was about Ukraine, then I thought it was about the whole global West, and then it kind of came to me that you meant the Wailing Wall. Like in Polish, it's called the Wailing Wall,
Yeah,
not the Western Wall.
yeah, it's
And
the same in German where it's Klagemauer. Yeah, that's called the Western Wall. Yes, but isn't it nice that it could be the other things too? And maybe it is.
yeah, obviously, but again, it's so ironic because today, as you know, there was an attack by Israel on Iran.
Yes.
And Benny Netanyahu put a small piece of paper into the Wailing Wall. And let me translate it to you what it said. It was a citation from the Book of Numbers.
Okay.
And look, the nation as a rising lion, in a fashion of lion, it rises, and it won't lay down until it eats its prey and drinks the blood of the fallen. That's what he
Sounds like
put in the Wailing Wall today.
sounds like a neofolk song, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think we've got a full raging war, a new one since yesterday?
I wouldn't tell you if I knew. Well, I've been thinking that quite on quite a few occasions. So I'm not going to make any predictions there. I'm not going to. It's certainly the balance, or I mean, some people wouldn't call it a balance, but things have changed a lot in recent years due to the war, and this, of course, affects the Middle East, like who's backing who and who's got how much fight in him left to back this or that partner. I mean, this is all being tested right now. So some countries can decide to go a little rogue and see what happens, which they would not have done before. So this could be the start of a bigger thing, or it could not. You know, it could just end there, and you know, it could be like another operation, or I don't know. I don't know. But it's one of those things, you know, like yesterday there was not this attack, today it is. So everything we're talking about here, I mean, this is so volatile. You know, who knows what next week's going to bring. So yeah, I'm retroactively writing stuff. I'm not foreseeing anything. I'm just
Yeah, obviously.
yeah.
There's this Chinese saying that may you live in interesting times, right? So yeah, we are living in interesting times, which is
Certainly, yes.
probably
Much more interesting
really
than
bad.
yeah, much more interesting than I thought.
Okay, Herculaneum or Herakleion, and not Pompeii. Why did you pick this city and not the other? And what's the meaning of the track? Is it about something that was supposed to last forever, which crumbles like in seconds?
Sounds good to me. It was mainly a reference to the artwork, uh, which is portraying the Hercules trials, and this was done actually by a friend of mine from Tel Aviv. So there you go. Back to that. Yeah, I just wanted to mention with the Western Wall. I mean, this was written and recorded way before October 7th. Um, I've been playing in Israel regularly throughout the last 10 years or so, and it wasn't particularly about that. It was more of a wider angle to this thing, and it was actually supposed to be the opener to a record at some point. And then I tossed the idea, but there was still that song, and so that's one of those songs that ended up on this record. And when the record came out, it was of course under completely different circumstances. So I'm not trying to be clever or anything. It's just you know spur of the moment things, and they accumulate, and then later on I have to sit here and try to come up with a smart answer to something I just did from the gut. I'm really not trying to sound cheeky or smart or whatever, but that's just the reality of it. Like I'm alive in this century, and I see what's happening, and I react in a certain way according to my upbringing and whatnot, and it pours out on paper, and then later on I have to defend it. I,
Yeah, the same
I'm
case with the Gates of Europe. I mean, no, not with the Gates of Europe. The previous one. Last time we talked, there also was a track. I can't remember which one that actually got a different meaning
no second try,
after
maybe.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, because I was mentioning Kiev in that song before the war, but just because this was Europe to me at the time as well, not related to the war didn't change my opinions. Um, and so yeah, it was weird to to have this song released after the invasion. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I had my finger on the pulse or anything, but it's just those images. Like if you toy with history and mythological images, I mean, there's a good chance you'll be right, according to
Yeah,
some.
that's
Yeah,
they're being recycled throughout the history, literature, and stuff. Like the thing that this old librarian in The Name of the Rose says: "There's no progress in a way of the world. It's just recycling itself all over again." Right.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so what about your plans for the nearest future? I mean, I'm not expecting you to release anything next month, but I believe
Uh,
you already have some material written, right?
we are releasing 3 records next month. Yes.
Well, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No, we do have those. The next bundle of 3 records lined up actually for, I believe it's late July. So there you go. It's a
Also, you
remix
weren't
of.
joking.
No, I'm not joking. No, that's what my publisher keeps saying. But I mean, um, I will just work until I'm not able to work anymore for whatever reason, and then the work will be there. And um, Rome started with me releasing too much in too short of a time, but I wasn't on the map then, and I just kept the pace up for most of the time anyway. It's not a competition, but it's just like if the work is there, and there's things that I feel like are ripe enough to be said, then I release stuff, and I don't think about, oh, but this is too early because, well, no, of course it's strategically suicidal. I mean, any record label would advise against my policy, but it's just like, what? Why hold on to stuff? It's just gonna clutter my desk, and And this year we kind of used to clean house. So Civitas Solis was the album that was made of all the high quality leftovers, really. That like, oh, this is too good a song to throw away, so I'll keep it. But it's not a B-side. It's a good song. I like it. So that's how that came together. And then of course we had the obligatory anthology for the anniversary, and then this third bundle is going to be a remix of Flowers from Exile, which was not even my idea. It was Patrick Damiani, the guy that I recorded this with, who was also pretty much part of Rome. We were this sort of duo at the time, in the first couple of years, and he wanted to revisit this and see what he could do with a mix of a particular song that he liked, and he wanted to include in a sort of a show of his work to date. And he asked me like, hey, is it okay for you if I remix this and put it on my homepage and stuff? I said, yeah, sure. And then he showed it to me, and I thought, maybe you want to try this with the rest of the stuff too. And so we talked it over, and there was no clock on this whole thing, which is like, okay, whenever, because he's a busy man, and okay, whenever you have the time, maybe do the odd song here and there, and then when we have all of them, we can think about releasing this in one way or the other. And so that took a while, and that's going to come out in July. And also the fifth and final part of our most loved ambient series, the Marshall ambient series, which is exclusively released on vinyl. That will come out. And the rarities collection, as every anniversary year has there's a collection. This is from the last 20 years, like odds and ends that have accumulated. B-sides, rarities, unreleased versions and stuff. So it's for collectors and hardcore supporters. Yeah, that's the third batch. So and then at the end of the year there will be a new album. So, and that's the anniversary year, and then I will probably go into hiding.
Yeah, so we're talking like around the end of the year again.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know what I'm allowed to say yet, but yeah. So far, it's been officially announced that later in the year there will be a new album. Yes,
Definitely, I'm gonna pester you about another interview by then. Okay, well, thank you. That's
absolutely. Yes.